And hello, football fans. Welcome back to the UK's best NFL pod. Heard of the line. And this is the divisional round playoff review show. And let me tell you something. We got a show for you guys. We're going to be talking coaches. We're going to be talking playoff chokes. We're going to be talking playoff wins. And I'm going to be doing that with my two fellow wonderful friends and co-hosts, Tom and Ollie. How are we, guys?
Very good.
Very good.
Yeah?
Business as usual. Watching the playoffs without my team in every year, so enjoying it as much stress free.
It's a stress-free year for all three of us, actually.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, my first year under that guys. So yeah.
well, welcome to the club, Tom.
Welcome to the club.
I'd love to have you. But you know what? I can tell you some of those games last weekend or this weekend, I was glad I did not have to sweat them out. I did sweat
Yeah.
out some bets, but I did not. As you all know, Hurdle Alliance, part of the AAW network, or all things for American football, guys, college, NFL, who knows what else we got going on. But anyway, very proudly part of that. Super producer Fletch is here in the background somewhere. So we're going to get into it. Guys, we just talked about this right before we got on. There are 10, well, there were 10, but there has been 10 coaching vacancies. You get a new coach, Browns. You get a new coach, Falcons. You get a new OC, Tom. You get a new OC, Lions. Yes, 10 head coaching vacancies, two of which have been filled. One was filled by the Giants over the weekend. John Harbaugh agreed to a 5-year, $100 million deal. Also, my Falcons signed Kevin Stefanski, former Browns coach, to be their new head coach. Matt Ryan's first hire as his new president of football. And then we've got seven more. But the big shocker was this morning, or today, actually, a few hours ago, we saw that the Bills, after a devastating loss, which we're going to talk about, to the Broncos this weekend, have decided to part ways with Sean McDermott after 9 seasons, 8 of which he went to the playoffs with, thanks to Josh Allen. Um, were you guys surprised about the McDermott firing?
Yes and no, I
Hmm.
suppose. I mean, like, I didn't expect it, but I wouldn't have been, shocked. I think people have probably discussed that it was a possibility that it was going to happen. But I suppose it's one of those things that, yeah, when it does happen, you are kind of like, oh, okay, it did actually happen, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy that it's all about the postseason success, isn't it? Because in the regular season, I think the Bills had like a 93-50 record, something like that. I looked up. But in the postseason, they are 8-8, and when it mattered, they haven't been able to get over the hump and get to the Super Bowl. So that's it's not just down to McDermott, but obviously him being the head coach, he does take a good amount of blame for that as well.
And
So
yeah, you say that, Tom, which does bring up the even bigger point, which is the fact that Brandon Beane has somehow kept his job. I don't quite understand. If you're going to fire Sean McDermott, you should fire both of them. I wouldn't be against the idea of fire because, as you said, I mean, a lot of people are going to think it was a reaction to this game specifically, and they're going to go, "Well, Josh Allen had what 4 turnovers and all of this stuff," but it's as you said, Tom. It's not this game. It's the postseason. The lack of success they've had in the postseason under him and Josh Allen. The previous 6 playoff games, Josh Allen had 0 turnovers. So it's not like this one game is when they went, oh, we have to fire Sean McDermott. I think it's obviously as you said, you've got a top 3 quarterback in the NFL over the last decade, and you've not made one Super Bowl. Which, don't get me wrong, it's very hard to make a Super Bowl. It's me saying this as a Browns fan, but do you know what I mean? These other coaches have done that with these quarterbacks, and he hasn't done that. So I don't think it's that shocking. I'm not that surprised, depending on who they hire. I think it is probably the right thing to do. But that's if they did it with firing Brandon Beane as well, which is it makes absolutely no sense keeping him there.
Or
yeah,
my
I agree with the Brandon Bean thing as well because
did Bean, sorry to interrupt you, Tom. Did
yeah,
Bean draft Josh Allen?
I am not 100% sure. Let me double check on that.
Keep
I
Tom,
think
where you
so.
just go. Well, if he did, then that's probably your answer, then.
that's probably what
But
kept
even
it.
then, I don't think that's enough. Do you know what I mean? Like how much they've how
Well, but if it's going to be a
gutted that
power
roster has
struggle,
been.
yeah, but if there's going to be a power struggle between the
Yeah, he
two,
did.
so. Well, Tom, I'm sorry. You were probably about to make a point and I interrupted you.
No, it's all right. I was just going to agree with Ollie because not only do you not fire him, you then promote him to
I
head
was
of
gonna, yeah,
football
yeah, yeah. To
operations.
be fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because yeah, I get yeah, obviously he drafted Josh Allen, that's his saving grace, but there is so many um l- well, they're lacking in
That was
so many
10 years
areas
ago,
on
nearly.
this Bills team. Like they haven't had a second wide receiver for the longest time. They haven't had a true wide receiver one since Stephon Diggs left. And they just keep bit parts together. You know, I think Khalil Shakir's great, whatever, but like he's not gonna win you like a playoff game just by himself. So, and you can't be relying on Josh Allen and James Cook to just win you every game.
Yeah, how
Well,
many times this season have we said, we all three of us sat here and gone, well, Josh Allen did everything by himself because there's literally nothing else around him. I
Yeah.
saw something earlier of the last 56, I think it's 56, it's either 56 or 58 players that he has drafted. He's had two Pro Bowlers.
and
Mm.
like if Sean McDermott is a defensive minded head coach, and I know we do this with coaches, they one side of the ball, whatever, even though they're coaching the whole team, but the defense has been what's held them back. And I know this
Oh,
for a fact where we wasted multiple really great seasons of Matt Ryan because we could not catch a cold. Like couldn't, sorry, not catch a cold. We couldn't stop a cold, whatever.
31
Anyway,
points a game they've given up in the
yeah.
playoffs.
So, and I think we've seen this now for what, like however many, what, since the 13-second game, really,
Mm.
it's been wash and repeat. And you had to do something, I think. You had to. And I even wonder if Josh had thought maybe this, maybe he had anything to do. I don't know. I don't know what his relationship's like with McGregor. I'm just
What
speculating
what
here.
what I don't get as well is that they've had a terrible Russian defense for a number of years. It's not like 1 year in a row they've had this bad Russian like defense. This is one of the worst in the league this year, but like it's been an Achilles heel for them for multiple years, and yet they still have not drafted players to try and, or they haven't been successful in drafting players to counteract that to make them a more stout defense. Which is what's ended up, well, obviously Josh Allen having the four turnovers is what cost them the game. But still, they just haven't been able to be fundamentally great on both sides of the ball. And that's ended up being their undoing as well. But you're right about Sean McDermott. It felt like there was a limit to which they could reach with him. And they're hoping now that by moving on from him and going for a coach, a different coach, that ceiling can be increased.
Yeah. By the
Yeah,
way, Google Brandon Bean, and if you've ever seen an American executive and like put like AI them in your mind, that's exactly what Brandon Bean looks like. It's quite it's funny. Ollie, finish off here. We're gonna move on.
I was just gonna say you'd like this one, but I saw obviously the comparison to when Tony Dungy was let go all those years ago, and a similar kind of thing where someone that took over. I mean, the Bills were terrible before McDermott got there for
Yeah.
like a decade or however long it was. They were terrible. Came there, brought them immediate success, did really well, but got to could only get to a certain point, and it got to that point where it felt like they needed someone else to come in to be able to take them over. And obviously, the Bills will be hoping for similar success that obviously what the Colts had. But yeah, just I think it was overall the right thing to do, but I would have done it with the GM as well. But I
Well,
suppose
yeah,
that brings up who's going to be the next Bills head coach.
yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll be tracking that. I haven't heard much. I mean, I know Michael McDonald probably is very not Michael McDonald. McDaniels is probably very.
Got there
That
in the
that
end.
was just a general mistake. That wasn't me just
Got
doing
there
what I
in the end.
normally do. But what I will say that what's interesting about that Tony Dungy thing, John Gruden comes in, wins a Super Bowl in Tampa Bay with his team, and then the team slowly goes down. Tony Dungy
Mm.
goes to the Colts. I think
Yes,
he
yeah,
sat out a
sorry, yeah,
year, and then he goes and wins a Super Bowl for
yeah.
Peyton Manning. So it all worked out for everybody. All right, John
Best to
Harbaugh
hear
to the
this. I think the same.
Giants. What do we think?
I, I don't know. Like, this doesn't really. I mean, okay. I'm pretty sure that John Harbaugh is pretty annoyed today now that he's just
Oh
seen
yeah,
Josh
definitely.
Allen's available to be coached. But I mean,
Oh
don't
man,
get
I
me
didn't even
wrong.
think about that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I mean, I think Kevin Stefanski might be thinking the same as well. I think a few people might be
Yeah.
thinking, well, actually, hold on a minute. I didn't realize Josh Allen was going to be available to be coached. But I, don't get me wrong, he's going to raise the floor. Obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 5 years they win that division and go on a. But I don't know. There's a reason why I wasn't that excited about it as a Browns fan, despite obviously a lot
Yeah.
of elder Browns fans being a lot more, for it.
I've
It
got
is
another
just
one for you, Ollie, just one more thing on the Sean McDermott thing. He gets fired, but Zach Taylor is still in the job. Just explain that to me, like
Well, I mean, that's just the AFC North.
still.
I mean, Zach Taylor being the last coach left in the AFC North is just so funny, and I would keep on laughing about that. Um,
Uh,
but
yeah.
no,
I was,
I've completely just missed my. You just completely derailed my train of thought. I
Sorry,
forgot what we
sorry.
were talking
You were
about now,
talking
but
about
it's
the
fine.
Giants and how it's not really like it's not a needle mover that you think anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, I think it is what it is. He'll raise the floor, but
yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
it's
I
that's
mean, it's
it.
a
That's
lot of
sorry,
money too,
sorry.
huh? Good.
Sorry, final thought. I've just remembered what I was going to say. But there's just no precedent for. I mean, how many times, even a Super Bowl winning head coach, how many times have we seen a head coach do well for that long at an organization, go somewhere else and replicate that? It's just quite rare that we've seen that.
I
Mm.
was surprised that he signed a 5-year deal as well. Like, I
That's the
feel like
standard.
I feel like this is, but he's
And did you see?
63 as well. Like, this
Oh
isn't.
yeah, he'll coach to he's 70, won't he? But that's the
Yeah,
thing as well.
it
Obviously,
feels like
quite an older
this
one, but
might be his last stop. But then he obviously believes in Jackson Dart enough to take the job as well. Because you imagine he's evaluated the positions that are available and thought that, having Jackson Dart is an exciting opportunity, but there's a lot more holes on that roster
oh,
that
good.
they
Yeah, I
need
was going to
to
say good luck
work
to him.
on. So
I mean, I'm not that high on Jackson Dart to the point where I think pairing him with John Harbaugh means that they're a Super Bowl contender
mm.
by any means. So good luck to him. Obviously, I'm not going to wish him
I
ill.
I think writing a $20 million a year check is that's I mean, I don't know what he was making in
Oh, I'm
the
not doing
Ravens.
that. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah, I
doing
mean,
that.
I think that's got I mean, that's big time money. So I mean, I think
And
that's
obviously, similar situation. The Giants were a team that fired their head coach, and we all thought they should have fired the GM as well. And I don't know if you all saw John Harbaugh's comments, but he made it quite clear that he reports to the owner, not the GM.
Not to Joe Shane, yeah.
Yeah, made it quite clear that his hierarchy of command was not to Joe Shane and was to slightly
Mm.
higher up than that.
And part
yeah.
of the thing with this as well is that John Mara, who, owns the team, he's not in well health as well. So he wants, to have a coach in there who can potentially get this team ready to win in the near future, compared to what they've had recently. So I think that's kind of part of the move as well.
Yeah. The Falcons hired Kevin Stefanski. I will say it's not been I think everyone's like, all my Falcons friends, nobody's like, yeah, everyone's pretty much like, okay, solid hire. I understand. Little worried about the last 2 years, but you know, offensive mind, everybody's happy. We got an offensive minded coach because Blank just always would hire defensive guys over and over and over again. Um, he's a Philly guy like Matt Ryan. Both of them are from the Philly Swords. And anyway, any thoughts, Ollie? Happy for you to go off on either which way. Don't even have to talk about the Falcons if you want to. Like,
I like the move. Obviously, I like Kevin. We all know my thoughts on Kevin here. I like Kevin. So obviously, I think that's a good move for Kevin. I said to both of you, before he was hired, that the Falcons job would probably make the most sense, just given the personnel that was there. He's a good coach, good offensive coach, and I think he will raise the floor. I think he would definitely put you guys in a position to challenge for the division next season, definitely. But I can understand why some Falcons fans might be thinking, or slightly disappointed, and that's purely just because, if they go anything off by my philosophy of when I'm looking for a new head coach, taking a retread that has, as you said, obviously the last two seasons don't give you much enthusiasm from an offensive coach who was the coach of the worst defense in the NFL over the last 2 years. So I completely understand why some Falcons fans might be slightly disappointed and obviously hesitant to get excited about it. But I will say that, I do think he can be good for the Falcons. I do think he will certainly raise the floor. That is something that, before these last 2 years, something that Kevin Stefanski was proven to be able to do. Give him a pile of wood and he'd be able to build you a house. Like he was able to do that with some of the kind of seasons that he had in Cleveland. But so I think it's what, as you said, Chapman, it's one of those where you can go kind of either way with it. You could be slightly disappointed, but I think you can easily talk yourself into also being slightly excited as well.
Yeah. And rumors are that we're going to be hiring the Bears assistant GM. Ian Cunningham is our GM. It's not official yet, but I think that hire might be coming soon. So we'll see. All right, guys. Just quickly, because I know we need to get to the games, but of the remaining jobs left, now we have another. I mean, I think Bills now is the most attractive job, clearly. Who would you like to see go there? I mean, just really quick, if you had to think about it.
If I'm completely honest, Chapman, as someone is a fan of a team that has a head coach opening, I don't really care who the Bills get as long as it's not whoever I want.
That's a good call.
No, I think I wouldn't be surprised if they get an internal hire for Joe Brady. I wouldn't be that shocked. Obviously, he's got quite a lot of head
Wow.
coach buzz. But I don't know. I assume they'll probably go after one of the offensive guys, one of the Kubiaks maybe.
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
see that. I could see that definitely being one of the
And for any Browns fan listening, Grant Ubinski for me. Let's go, Grant Udinski. Let's make him the youngest head coach in NFL history.
Suicide. All right. Well, we'll keep tracking that. I know we'll have some time, probably even before the Super Bowl. There'll be a lot of these hires, but anyway.
Well,
Uh,
mine might be after the Super Bowl with how it's bloody going with the rules with the new
yeah.
rules and yeah, we have at least 10 more days. I'm gonna have to wait.
I think they should just make everybody wait, weirdly.
I know, I know.
Mm.
I mean, it would pay off for the coaches now. Like, I mean, like you said, I think John Harbaugh is probably a little salty today, but anyway, we'll see. All right, guys. So we had two games on Saturday, we had two games on Sunday. The best games were the first and the last game, in my opinion, which I think you guys would agree. We had one total stinker, one semi stinker, or at least I thought it was. I think Tom liked it, and then two really great games. They both went into overtime. So let's start with the first one. The Broncos beat the Bills in over 30 to 33 in Arrowhead. I'm not in Arrowhead. Jeez, in Mile High.
There you
I
go.
love it.
Arrowhead's on the mind. Yes, come on.
I've lost it. This game was crazy. And you definitely can say this was not Josh Allen's best game. Anyway, what was your guys' thoughts on this one?
Take it away, Tom. Resident Broncos
Um,
hater.
Broncos hater, yeah. Well, in all fairness, they actually played very well in this game. I mean,
Oh, it's bald.
Bo Nix played really well, especially starting out in this game. It was just a great back and forth game, in all honesty. I mean, the Broncos had a 13-point lead. It felt like the Bills, they were never going to get away from the Bills, despite having the 13-point lead. I have no idea what Josh Allen was thinking with 13 seconds left in the half. It's 10-10. They then give up a touchdown. And then he also then decides to throw the ball deep
Mm,
to get it
mm.
picked off. And then, they go down and they kick a field goal. And just like that's a 10-point swing, 20-10. So I think there was some questionable calls there from Sean McDermott, like being that aggressive to want to throw the ball down the field in that point in the game when you can just take a 7-point deficit and that's just a touchdown. So I think that came back to haunt them a little bit. But the second half was electric, just going up and down the field. And when it got to what the Bills were up 27-24, I think at one point, right? Or
Mhm.
27-23. Then the Broncos, the season on the line for them. Bo Nix drives them down the field for the go-ahead touchdown. Then the Bills get the field goal to send it to overtime.
Time.
And then the controversial moment in the game, right?
Yep.
With the whole, was it a catch? Was it an interception? Um, I mean, me personally, I'd say it's probably a catch, but that's just because of precedent. But it was called what it was called on the field. He called an interception, and then the Broncos go down, kick the field goal, and then they go from the ultimate ecstasy of being, oh, we've won the game, to then how crazy is it to then they go out for a second press conference and find out that Bo Nix has broken his ankle and is out for the season. Like that's just absolutely nuts. So, but yeah, a crazy game.
Yeah. Did you think it was a catch, Ollie?
Yeah, yeah, 100%,
I
100%.
I forgot who it is. Is it? It might be Dan Hansen or it might be a bit Bill Smith. I can't remember, but it was the whole thing about like the NFL should just have a bar somewhere in a neutral city, and they cut to that bar, and everybody in that bar gets to vote whether something is a catch or not, and everybody in that bar decides the fate. It's because of that to me. I mean, and they did talk. We were listening. We're talking about just the inconsistencies of these catch calls. They just anyway. Um, yeah, I was watching at the Hippo with my buddy Ryan. Shout out to Ryan. He's a Phil's fan, and it was literally watching somebody go through every emotion that you could go through, and it just man, I just felt so bad for him. And we had a whole group of American college students who were all from Colorado, just Denver fans, and it was just like, woo. Anyway, the game was I don't know, it wasn't Josh's best game. I think he was just pressing. I think this is why he can't do it on his own. Like he can't. So
And
um
as I kind of mentioned earlier, he's given you enough evidence to give him the benefit. I mean, we've seen Josh Allen with some of the greatest playoff performances we've actually ever seen in the last 5-6 years. So yeah, don't get me wrong, he was not great in this game, was part of the reason why they lost this game. But as you said, Chapman, I think a big part of that, as we've seen a lot of times this season, when Josh Allen has these kind of moments, it's when he's being forced to try and do everything. And I think that's a detriment to the team more so than it is to Josh Allen as well. But Jarrett Stidham is going to be starting in an AFC Championship game. We all talked about getting the hilarious graphic like we did in 2017, and we got it. Drake May, Jarrett Stidham, and obviously the other quarterbacks as well are going to be playing in that championship weekend.
Yeah,
well yeah.
we've gone from Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar, and Burrow, and then we've gone to Drake May and Jackson. So it's definitely an interesting year in the NFL. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Ollie, on the whole with the Bills. It was on the Bills. It's not just on Josh Allen. Obviously, it did feel like the first playoff game where Josh Allen was one of the main reasons why they lost. It felt like in the past
Yeah, yeah, I'm
the
not taking that away. Yeah,
defenses sold them down the river, whereas in this one, those costly turnovers,
Mhm.
the picks, and the fumble,
yeah.
just changed momentum in the game. And obviously he was distraught afterwards. He was crying. He was very emotional because it felt like this was one of their best chances. It
Oh, they've
felt like
blown it. Yeah,
the AFC was wide open for them to finally go to the Super Bowl and get to the promised land, but just didn't happen once again.
Yeah. And uh talk about a little bit about Denver. Obviously, they find out they lose Bo Nix for the season at the end of this game. He breaks his ankle, but the defense, this big lot of defense, still gave up 30 points to the Bills today, and it's like um, not this. It happens, but usually defenses get better come the playoffs. I'm a little concerned for them next week, but obviously, like
Thankfully, they've got a backup quarterback's best friend, which is a good offensive line. So
Mm.
mm,
that should hopefully keep Jarrett Stidham somewhat, give him somewhat of a chance.
yeah. Well, Sean Payton, as much as I dislike him, he is a great offensive mastermind, and he's done more with less at quarterbacks. Just
Yep.
see Taysom
He
Hill.
likes Jarrett Stidham. He's the one that
Yeah.
So,
brought him in those, a couple of years ago. And also shout out to Peyton as well. The way he dealt with that press conference after obviously
Mm.
coming back out and talking about Bonitz was pretty good. But I did find it quite odd that literally within an hour after the game, they found out he's broke his ankle and have surgery scheduled. I was like,
Mm.
that I've never seen it that quick before.
No,
But
yeah, that was great. Yeah, because they said he's scheduled to have
yeah,
surgery on Tuesday or something.
I was
But
like, well, that's the
yeah,
quickest
that's
ever
pretty insane.
medical procedure I've ever
The mad
seen.
thing was that he did like the interviews after the game as well. So I'm like, he was just standing on a broken
Yeah,
ankle while getting interviewed. I was like, okay,
crazy
then.
situation. That's
Right.
what made it so shocking because it was
Yeah,
like, wait, it was genuinely no one had any idea that he had broke his ankle.
yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Well, so Denver, the number one seed, wins, and they will be playing the AFC Championship game and
Hosting,
hosting it. Yes, that's right. Hosting the NFC Championship game.
which is big
So,
when you play in Denver.
Yeah.
yeah, I wonder what their record. I thought I saw their record the other day in the AFC Championship games. But anyway, the
Oh,
game I actually
don't. Let's not talk about Denver's record in AFC Championship games. That will bring back some bad memories for a certain
yeah.
fan base here.
The second game on Saturday was the 49ers going to Seattle to face Seahawks. The Seahawks win 40-6. I think they ran back the opening kickoff for a touchdown to start the game, if that's
Yeah,
correct.
Rashid
So,
Shaheed,
Yeah,
85-yard kickoff return. Actually, it measured as a small earthquake in Seattle. The 12's definitely given it, the great atmosphere that Seattle has. I mean, Tom Brady on the call was saying how, that and Arrowhead are, the loudest stadiums that he's ever played at. And it proved to be in this game. I mean, Seattle just dominated from start to finish. There was
yeah.
never,
This wasn't a contest,
this was not a contest
and
in
I
any
would.
part of the game.
Don't get me wrong. I expected more from the 49ers just with how much they've raised the bar and how
Mm.
much that they've dealt with stuff throughout the season. But when you do actually take a, pardon me, take a step back and look at what we're at, like look at what they're actually going up against and what they have in terms of all the, it's not really a surprise that it eventually got burst and they got blown out in the playoffs by a really good team. Like there's only so much you can deal with, and it kind of felt like the Browns when they made the playoffs in 2023 with all those injuries, and then just got completely blown out by the Texans, and it was like, right, yeah, okay, it finally catches up with you, I feel like, and they played what is, in my opinion, the best team in the NFL. So that this
Did
is
you
just what was going to happen.
did you see the stat about Brock Purdy, Ollie, that he ran because he was running like for his life the whole game. He ran like 413
Doesn't
yards.
shock me.
Um,
And only took 2 sacks, by the way.
and only took two sacks. Like he actually played a fairly clean. I know
Yeah,
obviously he threw whatever, but like he actually played, okay, considering the team was just getting absolutely blown to shreds. But I think that's the most a quarterback has run like behind the line of scrimmage in like 15 years or something like that. So that was like
even more than
insane.
Mahomes in the Tampa Bay
Yeah,
Super
yeah,
Bowl,
even more
which
than that.
is
And
pretty
Brady even
impressive.
mentioned that in the thing as well. I talked about that. But yeah, it was the Seattle's day, especially Kenneth Walker. Zach Charbonnet went down, actually got reported today that he tore his
Yeah.
ACL.
So
He's now
yeah.
out for the rest of the playoffs, which is a real blow for them. But,
Thankfully, they have Kenneth Walker.
yeah, Kenneth Walker is just a freight train at running back. I mean, that touchdown he got where he just went
what?
back
How did
across the
Charbonnet
formation.
get hurt?
He
ACL was it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Well, he
Probably
went off with like a
non-contact.
knee injury, and it was a bit suspect. Like there wasn't really a lot going on, and then he went to the locker room, and they reported that he was out for the game. But it didn't look too bad at the time. But obviously, the reporting is as feared, unfortunately. But yeah, Kenneth Walker, what nearly 150 total yards, three touchdowns. And when he's in that sort of form where like he gets the space, he is just an absolute beast.
And
Sam Darnold didn't even have to do much in this game. He threw
I was going to
17
say,
passes.
Tom, if I had said to you that Seattle won the divisional round of the playoffs by what, 35 points,
Yeah,
and Jackson Smith and Jigba had 19 yards,
yeah.
you'd have been like, what? Like there must have been a defensive masterclass, which don't get me wrong, obviously the defense was amazing, as they have been all season, but it was just, it was just just a much better team going up against a team that is just completely,
I mean, Ollie, Cooper
deficient.
Kupp led the Seahawks in yards.
Yeah, 60 receiving yards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like it's
It's because they went up early. They didn't really
yeah.
have to do much to win this game. They were quite easily coasted this. They should be, in my opinion, the favourite to win the Super Bowl. They're the best team in the NFL,
I agree.
um, in my opinion.
That's why I changed my pick. Picked them to win the Super Bowl. So
Oh, he's changed it, has he? He's changed it. He's changed it.
we went through, didn't we, Chapman? We went through. We picked them, and
Well,
I picked
I
Sam
just want to
Darnold
make it known
to
that
be lifting that trophy, man.
I
So
did pick the Seahawks as the best team in the NFC over the Rams, unlike you two a few weeks ago. But just making my point.
oh
There you go,
yeah,
there you
yeah.
go,
You
there you
also
go.
picked the 49ers to go to
No, that
the
was at the start of the season. Thank you very much. We've been through this. And in my defense, they made it all the way to the divisional round, even with half their team being injured. So actually, you know what?
True.
San
No. I have
Francisco,
to give a lot of credit to them because even in this
yeah,
game,
yeah.
the backup tight end then goes out, and
Oh,
just injuries
just
everywhere. It's just insane. So yeah,
Um, well, I mean, as you know, I got my 1 pound, 60 to 1 Seattle Seahawks Super
yeah.
Bowl winning bet going on. Now, just really quickly before we get to the rest of the games, I know that we talk about, I show you guys some of my lineup sometimes when I'm doing little parlays and stuff. Now, if you like to bet, and I like to throw some money on stuff every once in a while, you can do that with our friends over at Fantasy Game Day app, the UK's first and only NFL daily fantasy app made by UK fans for UK fans. You enter a game, you set lineup, you can compete against some of us at Heard of the Line and other UK podcasters. Couple pounds here and there, just ranging from whatever you want to do. You can download the Fantasy Game Day app, and if you you sign up and you put in the promo code Hurdle without the U because
there's
HRDLE because there's no
heard of the line without you.
thank you, Tom. Always great. You'll get a 750 free bet it plays, and you'll be helping support our show. And we are obviously we do this for the love of podcasting and talking football. So we appreciate Fantasy Game Day app support. Also, make sure you're following all the AEW folks. All the things, join us on our Discord. Everything is down in the details below. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. All right, guys, Sunday games, the big one. Texans, Patriots. The Patriots win and return to the AFC Championship, beating the Texans 28-16. This is the game I think that will be more remembered for the CJ Stroud complete meltdown, more so than and also I would say the Patriots defense outshining the much lauded Texas defense coming into this game. Yeah, the CJ Stroud melted down, man. It was not fun. I think he had 4 interceptions, no, 5 interceptions, excuse me. A couple fumbles there. Not that Drake May had a very clean day either. I think he had a couple intercept. He had multiple fumbles, though I think they recovered a couple of them, and then an interception too. But this was all about the Pats defense. I thought just suffocating that Texas offense and really showing that they are, uh, you know, a good sound football team. Mike Vrabel had them ready to play, and in the end, they played much better than the Texans did.
Yeah, I
Were you
mean,
surprised, Tom?
there was 8 turnovers in this game. Like it
Eight
was like no
turnovers.
one wanted to keep the ball.
Yeah.
And I would push back. I know obviously the Patriots defense played great again, and CJ Stroud threw some balls up, but I'm just so sad this Texas defense is not playing football next week because watching them just maul is insane. Like it's one of the best defenses I've ever seen. Just as a unit, Will Anderson, 2 sacks. Yeah, they forced 2 fumbles. They've forced multiple fumbles from Drake May. He managed to jump on a couple of them, or his lineman did, and he fumbled. He lost 2 fumbles, threw a pick as well. But this game was about CJ Stroud, and I mean the fact that they had that many turnovers and they only got 7 points
I know.
off those turnovers just shows how good this defense
Yeah, I know.
was.
Their
It
defense, you're right. We should caveat that they kept them. The score could have been a lot worse.
it really
Oh yeah,
could
this would have
have.
been the Seattle game if it wasn't for how good the Texans defense were.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. And the only points that they got was off the pick 6 for was it Cotton Davis, I think. I don't know. He got 2 picks in this game, but yeah, they did impress me. The Patriots defense for sure. Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez, they play great. But yeah, this is about CJ Stroud just melting down right in front of our eyes, especially in that first half. 4 picks. I was surprised that D'Amico Ryans didn't look to bring in
Davis Mills.
Davis Mills potentially. Um, but he did, in all fairness, he did play slightly better in the second half. But they
Yeah.
were chasing it. They had an 11-point deficit. They got it to 5, didn't they? And then that touchdown, beautiful catch from Keishon Boutte, one-handed. That just kind of was the death knell in this game.
Yeah, that was a
Um,
great throw and catch. I mean,
Yeah,
it's it's funny because Drake May versus CJ Stroud on paper sounds like, ooh, that's going to be a really good match. And if we're being completely honest, don't get me wrong, he threw three. This was actually a mid-off between
yeah,
between the two.
yeah,
I mean, both
yeah.
guys were not great. And don't get me wrong, I'm a massive Drake May fan. I've sang his praises all season.
Hmm.
We can talk about the schedule stuff, who they played in the playoffs, whatever. But he has not been great by any means. I mean, he has 6 fumbles in
2
2 games.
games. Yeah.
He has a turnover problem himself in these playoffs, and is it going to come back to bite them? Probably not next week because they're playing Jarrett Stidham. But you know what I mean. I'm sure we might get into that. But this was actually at points crazy how like it was just two deep, really good defenses, and the offenses were like we're not actually that good, but we got put in good positions and we'll take advantage of those. And Drake May was able to take advantage of those a lot more than I mean. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
Drake May was 10 times better than what CJ Stroud was. CJ Stroud was genuinely awful. And do they have a question at quarterback now? The Texans, do they have some serious things that they might have to start? Which sounds crazy considering they've been in the divisional round of the playoffs pretty much every year he's been there. But
Three
it
seasons.
almost feels like he's the reason why they've not got further each time. So
mm,
I think they've obviously got some big questions with that second contract looming. So yeah, this was a game where two great defenses, as you said, Tom. It's a shame to see the Texans defense go out because we can always say next year their defense, but you always are going to lose players. There's always going to be
mm.
turnover. One unit in one given year is that unit. You can be replicate as much as you want. And shout out to the 2025 Texans defense because they gave us one hell of a ride this year. But obviously, shout out to the Patriots for winning this game and doing the most important part.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think by most of the metrics that I've seen, the Texas defense is like one of the best of the last like 25 years or something like. They were just that dominant. So yeah, it's a shame to see them go out. But yeah, I'm interested to see how the Patriots get on against the Broncos and Mile High next week. And one thing I got to say about that, and I say this as a Chiefs fan, please, please, Jared Stidham, please play the best game of your career against the Patriots and stop them going back to the Super Bowl. I pray. I really do. I
Well,
hate the
it's
Broncos, but I hate the Patriots more. So yeah.
Chapman, me and you can get annoyed because this year we joked about the Chiefs and finally not Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, but when you actually take a step back and you realise that wait, the Chiefs might have missed it, but this is still the 15th consecutive year where either the Patriots or the Chiefs have been in the AFC Championship game. I'm sick of it as a fan of an AFC team. I am sick of it. I'm so sick of it. Just please, why can't they be bad for longer than 3 years? Nope, straight back in the AFC Championship game. It really, really grinds my gears.
It really does. Look, I'm interested to see. I haven't looked in, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to guess. I can't imagine what the spread on that game is going to be in Mile High. Here's what I would say. Like, I have a lot of, I really like Mike Vrabel a lot. I really wanted the Falcons to hire him 2 years ago and it just didn't happen. And he probably not, knowing maybe that, well, I guess he didn't know that Gerard Mayo was going to be the worst coach ever. But anyway, and I think that's the other thing, just to give a little bit more love to the Patriots team in that game is like they didn't make dumb mistakes. I mean, look, like you said, May's got some problems with the ball, and I do think that actually will come back to haunt them next week in Mile High because I think the defense of the Broncos, while um, May is not to Josh Allen's level just yet, even though he may have an MVP season here. But I just There's just something about Sean Payton being the trickiest coach in the world, and I'm just interested to see what he does. Anyway,
So,
uh,
Chapman, do you want to know the spread of the game?
let me guess really quick.
Okay.
Okay, so
I'm going to go
Bo
38
Nix.
and a half.
No, no, no. Bo Nix has got to be worth two-ish points. So I'm gonna say I would have had the Broncos favored in Mile High. So I'm gonna put it at 1.5, two.
Oh, spread. Sorry,
The
spread. I thought you were
spread.
doing the over
Yeah.
under.
So you're saying Broncos favored by 1.5?
Minus 1.5.
Yeah, so the Patriots are 5.5 point favorites.
Whoa!
That's quarterback. That's quarterback.
Whoa!
That's quarterback. That's what
And the
quarterback does.
over-under is set at 41
Hold
and
on.
a half.
Oh, damn it.
So
I
wait,
was
that means that the Broncos wouldn't even have been favored with Bo Nix.
Yeah, it looks
Because
like
there's
I don't
no
know.
way
I
Bo
don't
Nix
know.
is worth
I
a full touchdown.
I don't know. I feel like it's not just Bone. It's starting quarterback in. This is Jarrett Stidham's first game of the season, first start of the season. Like I think
No,
it's
it's his
not
first
just the
time in
fact.
2 years to play in an
Mm,
Yeah, so
NFL
I
game.
think it's not just the fact that it's Bo Nix. I think it's the fact that it's the team losing their starting quarterback in the AFC
But
Championship game.
that's not how spreads work, Ollie. So what it would because like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are about the only players worth a touchdown in that position. The way a spread would work. This is too in the
I
weeds
feel
for
like
us.
it has to be because there's no way that the Broncos wouldn't have been
No,
favourites in
that's
my
what
opinion.
Vegas is telling you, and I know why because the Pats are a team that people will bet on. It's the same thing. It's
Yeah, I
like it's a
suppose.
Pats
Yeah,
tax.
yeah.
So because they're like I mean they're essentially the Cowboys of the last 20 years, right? Well, and I mean that respectfully, like because the Cowboys are the team of the 90s and they have like fans
Yeah, yeah,
everywhere
yeah.
they go. Anyway, yeah, I think it's the Pats tax. So that they've got to get because they're gonna have a ton of money coming in on Drake May probably. So they've got to get.
I I will say before. So, no, sorry. Let you
No,
finish. I was
I'm
just
all
say.
done. I'm all done.
I was just
That's
to
enough
say
gambling talk.
to finish on the AFC. Obviously, just the last game being the NFC. To finish on the A, it does feel like, and they can prove me wrong. I'm sure Carl, if he's listening, would love
yeah,
for them to prove me
yeah.
wrong. But it does feel like whoever comes out of the AFC, unlike what we've seen in the last few years, I feel like
I
we've had it the other way
100%
around.
agree.
It does feel like whoever comes out of the AFC is in for a bit of a slapping in the Super Bowl by
I
one of those
agree.
juggernauts.
I
A
agree,
hundred. I was
100%.
going to say that same thing.
Because
I
neither
never.
neither of those teams give me
No,
much hope
I,
against the Seahawks or the Rams.
look, the Pats are a year ahead, I think, and I think that's great. And congratulations to them. I mean, dude, I'm not saying they can't any given Sunday, whatever.
Oh yeah,
But
Eddie, 100%.
watching those two games and then watching the highlights of what Seattle did, and then
Yeah,
also
yeah,
and then McVay and Stafford and
yeah,
and then the know-how there to win a Super
yeah,
Bowl. Yeah, I think it's
yeah,
anyway. Let's go on to that game. Which was this your favorite game of the weekend? The Pats, sorry, the Rams Bears game.
yeah. Just just
Think
obviously
so.
just because of how much I obviously like Caleb Williams. Matt Stafford is always an absolute pleasure to watch. Caleb Williams just capping off what has been a insane season. How many times have I said
Yeah.
it this year, guys, where there's been games where he'll throw interceptions that make you go, what on earth was that? And then the next play, he'll make a throw where you go, I don't think I've actually seen a better throw than that in 10 years. It's just
Mm,
insane, some of the plays that he made, obviously capping off with the last play that we will get to. But I suppose this game was more exciting just because of the moments. It wasn't, it
Mm.
got stale at times during the game. There were times where it kind of dried up a little bit. But when obviously, everything came to it, two quarterbacks in moments coming through, Matt Stafford on one side, Caleb Williams on the other side, after the failed fourth down attempt to obviously, was it fourth and goal? I can't remember what it was. They failed the first time, got the ball back, 4th and 4. Caleb Williams scrambles, 30 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And people can say he heaved it up and just didn't even know the guy was there. You can quite clearly see that he knew what he was trying to do. It wasn't just a throw that he was throwing in the air. One of the most ridiculous plays I've ever seen. If they had won this game, this would be one of those plays that we'd be playing, in NFL history films, kind of, in those YouTube videos that you see. Um, and got to the point where, don't get me wrong, if it was me, I thought they'd do it. I'd have gone for two, but
Yeah, yeah, I thought they were going to do it as well.
I understand why. Obviously at home, taking it into overtime, I do get it, but for me, I'd have gone for two there. I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on it. But yeah, obviously a great game that then in overtime he had that amazing play, as I said, then followed it up with the interception. Was it overtime, the interception, and then
Yeah, yeah,
obviously
overtime interception,
the Rams able to go and win it. But
which was
yeah,
actually
I'd have
incredible
gone for
play
two
as
there.
well by the defender,
Yeah,
Amco. He had I think he had two picks in this game, but yeah, I agree with you. I mean, that throw, one of the best throws I've ever seen. I mean, it was a great call from Mike. What's it called? Mike Tirico. He was like,
Mm.
one of the greatest like playoff, touchdowns you'll ever see. Um, and he was gobsmacked by it. Everyone was gobsmacked by it because you're right, Ollie. It wasn't just a heave up. He unfurled that ball and it hit him right in the bucket. Like it
the
was.
Yeah.
defender didn't think it was traveling that far. Like you could
No,
see the
no.
defender
And
No.
was like, "There's
you
no way he can
you
get it
saw
there."
Sean McVay on the sideline, just like deer in headlights, like what just happened? And then
Mm.
it was quite impressive him then being able to, come back because one of the reasons of why the Rams were so close in this game is that there was some kind of not great play calling from him, and he even accounted for it at the end, saying I didn't call the best game. I made mistakes in this game, and luckily they managed to overcome those. But then in overtime for Matt Stafford to throw that absolute dot to Devontae Adams sideline catch. I mean, that was one of the throws of the year as well. Just being able to fit it in that tight window where the defender just couldn't get it. They obviously kicked the ensuing field goal to win the game with the thicker kicker, which broke Bears' hearts. But yeah, I've got to give a lot of credit to the Bears in this game. The Bears defense, especially the Bears secondary, they blanketed LA for the majority of the game. Jaquan Brisker, Kyler Gordon
Stevenson
were making
had a great
plays.
game.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like they just played an absolutely insane game, and it just came down to the wire. Obviously, unfortunate for Caleb to throw because it felt at least at that point that they were going to go down and kick the field goal because they were driving down the field. They were getting towards field goal range, and then he just throws it up. And in all fairness, it is a great player by the defender. I don't know what DJ Moore was doing. Chris Conaway was saying on the call that he just kind of stopped on the route. But Cam Cole, ran it really well and picked it off, and then the rest is history with the Rams going down. But there's for Caleb Williams, even though he threw I think he threw three picks in this game, but he just showed some incredible play. I mean, that play in itself, but he just has so much talent, this guy. Like it's
It,
incredible to watch him.
it's the coming up in the mud. And how many times have I said it? This, I mean,
Mm.
how many fourth down conversions? How many end the game moments? I think they've had 7 fourth quarter comebacks this year.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's in his second season. You should expect mistakes from a quarterback that's 23 years old. You're obviously going to expect that, and we've seen those mistakes obviously now be highlighted on the biggest stage. With I think them being similar to the Patriots, as you said earlier, Chapman. I think this is a team that is a year ahead. And don't get me wrong, I'm one of those people that say that you should never take anything for granted because
You
it's
never
not a
know.
guarantee you're going to be back. But this is a team that feels like they are building good foundations, and I think Bears fans can, as I said, you should always be disappointed because you just never know when you're going to be back. You could have one year where you get to a Super Bowl and you don't make the playoffs for the next 10 years. You just never know in the NFL. But I do think they can hold their head high this year with just some of the crazy plays that they've had, which, as I said, if it did, result in a Super Bowl appearance, this would have been one of those years where they'd have had so many moments to show in the YouTube documentary video just because of how many crazy wins and how many crazy plays they've had this year, and they just ran out of those plays in the end. And the Rams, who I think most of us thought as this season, with what the first 5 weeks of the season, we were all like, well, the Rams are probably going to the Super Bowl. So I'm happy that we've got the two best teams, in my opinion, in the NFL playing against each other in one of the
Yeah.
championship games, and that's the Rams and the Seahawks. So really, really looking forward to that matchup, of course. But yeah, shout out to the Bears, shout out to Caleb Williams, but obviously congratulations to the Rams doing enough to win it.
Well said. And I really work on trying to get my intros slightly shorter, but you guys got to let me tell the score of the game before you do your 20-minute drive. So the score was 20-17, by the way, the
Yeah,
Rams.
yeah.
I don't know if you guys did, but I happened to check out the preview show from last week. And one of the things I thought was quite interesting, granted, it did fill the past. There was a lot of Stafford love on the preview show last week, and they barely talked about Caleb Williams. And I was like, granted, because Stafford is like going for the all-time most comeback wins in the history of the NFL, and he's in the top five, I believe. If he needs like a few more, but anyway, doesn't matter. And I was like, Caleb Williams has like 8 this year or 7 or whatever it is. Like, how can you not like talk about the new kid too? So anyway, it was a lot of yeah, it was a lot of Stafford love, as you could probably guess, on with Sam and Fletch. So anyway, but yeah, I'm glad we're gonna get a great game. Hopefully, the NFC Championship game. I have not looked at this number at home. Seattle by 1.5. I'm gonna say it's a close game. Maybe
Yeah,
two and a
I'd probably
one
agree
and a
with
half
you.
points.
1.5.
It
Dun, dun, dun,
is
dun.
the Rams. Seattle are 3-point favorites
Yeah, so minus three,
according to
minus the two and a,
DraftKings, or
oh,
two and
two
a
and a
half
half.
now
All
for
right, okay.
Fletcher's
Two and a
bet.
half somewhere
So
else. Yeah.
my bets are going to be I'm taking the Broncos plus 5 or however many bets, and I'm taking Seattle minus 2.5.
Mm, yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So, um, well, that's kind of it right now. So we have our AFC NFC Championship game coming up. That will be previewed on the preview show coming up on Thursday. We'll be back on Monday to talk about the games. We have 3 more games to talk about for the rest of the season. I got a little sad on Sunday because
We're
it's
getting
kind of
towards the end.
there's obviously the national championship tonight, which I will not be staying up with, but go Indiana.
Nope.
No,
Shout out,
Go
yeah, go Indiana.
go Indiana. I lived in Indiana for 2 years, University of
Nice.
Evansville.
go Fernando
Uh
Mendoza playing at home as well. So
yeah, there we go. Future number 1 pick.
Future Las Vegas Raiders
yeah,
quarterback. Tom will get a lot. Tom will know a lot about Fernando Mendoza in the next few years.
That'll be exciting. Anything else about this weekend that you guys have you want to chat about?
I mean, you did your picks there as someone that's not I'm not quite as the gambling. I just do pick the winner, so I will just go Seahawks. I think we'll win that, and I do think the Patriots will win, and yeah, we'll obviously get
Yeah.
to the Super Bowl when we get to it. But I think we're going to have, unfortunately, the Patriots back in the Super Bowl, but we're going to have a repeat of what was a very, very, very good Super Bowl in what,
Yes.
2014 now. That feels like a lifetime ago.
no
I
Malcolm Butler
know.
this time though.
One of the earlier Super Bowls I watched in my NFL fandom, and one of the better
Really?
Super Bowls that I watched. Yeah, I think the first I watched was the Bronco first like full one. I sat down and actually watched the whole thing, paying attention to it. And then obviously that was such a good Super Bowl. Obviously Seattle Patriots, and hopefully we get similar to that.
Yeah. Well, I'm taking the points, so I don't necessarily mean the Broncos are going to win. I'm just going to take the
Yeah,
plus
yeah, yeah, I
5.
know, yeah,
But
yeah, I know, yeah.
you know what? Uh, the
I
reason
hope
why
they do.
I thought the Patriots would win on Sunday, and they did. And I mainly thought that because I thought they had a better quarterback and they had the better coach. I think it's a wash. They obviously have the better quarterback in this game, but man, I think not to take anything away from Mike Vrabel, but I think Sean Payton's he's just this dude that saves weird
You,
stuff for the end, but
yeah,
he
you
does have
you
his
are
end.
right.
And again, that's not discounting I'm not discounting the Patriots as a team because I can separate the team from the fan base. And and yes, that's a shot. Anyway, but yeah, we'll see. What do you think, Tom? Who's your picks?
So I'm going Broncos to beat the Patriots and Seahawks to beat the Rams, and I'm hoping for a similar outcome to the Super Bowl between the
Yeah.
Broncos and the Rams. No, yeah, no, the Broncos and the Seahawks. Well, that may be a bit more exciting than 43-8, but
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I I still think these are, I mean, I'm very intrigued to see how the Broncos Pats game goes, just because I'm very intrigued about it. Also, because I want to see if Drake May kind of bounces back from fumble from Maruski's, and then if Stidham can, they can just maintain the game. The other thing is Sean Payton knows how to run the ball, and that'll be and obviously the Pats defense just swallowed up that Houston run game, man. They didn't even have a
Hmm.
chance. So, and then I just want to see if Seattle can do it, man. Michael McDonald, man, and Sam Darnold, if he can, we'll see. So, oh, Purple Aces. Yes, that's right, Fletch. Purple Aces. That's the Evansville mascot. So anyway, um, funny enough, I had a really good hurdle and I totally forgot to write it down and say it. It was a good one too. But we're just gonna cheat. Well, all right. Thank you for joining us, guys. No, we're not hurdling the purple aces. No one knows what those are. We want people to listen to this. Um, Thank you guys so much for listening. Again, preview show will be on Thursday. Join us again next week for the review of the AFC and NFC championship games. Go football, hurdle those championship games.